now let's zoom in on the FEU Tamaraws and talk about one of the players to watch out for, especially in this matchup. I'm referring, of course, to Nestor Mulate.
That's right, Nestor Mulate, a very exciting player to watch. And he's relatively a new name, but he scores a lot. Again, in that first match, 25 points, 21 attacks. And he is ranked 6th right now when it comes to that scoring department. His averages right now are 13.3 points per game, 3.6 per set, 10.6 coming from the attacks, and again 2.8 attacks per set. And definitely a player to watch out for in this series against Ateneo. I'm sure Ateneo is also wary of Nestor Mulate and expect him to be a very tightly guarded man in today's match.
And there he is, Nestor Mulate. We've been seeing him during the warps, and boy, he is a high flyer. So watch out for some really exciting, exhilarating spikes. Now on the other side, let's talk about the best player for Ateneo, the tallest player as well at 6'4".
That's right.
Playing in his final season, 4th-year med student, AJ Pareja.
AJ, of course, it doesn't hurt if you're 6'4", but with the experience he brings to this team, he's the team captain. He's been playing for 5 years, and AJ definitely has, of course, wants to make a good exit as it's his last year for the Ateneo squad, and it was their first final appearance last year, so it was a very memorable year for them last year, and they built up on that. They held on to that, and right now they are back in the final for AJ Pareja. Definitely a vital cog in the lineup for Ateneo.
Ateneo's first appearance was just last year in the Final Four of the volleyball tournament.
That's right. After a long dry spell, if you may call it that, they had actually 9 consecutive seasons without a winless season, and they just came out of last year getting into the Final Four for the first time, and these boys love that feeling, I'm sure, and now they're back and up against a very seasoned a team such as FEU, who has a very rich championship tradition here in the UAAP. They are really they're really up against a very difficult opponent, a matchup against FEU, but you know, this Ateneo squad, like what I said, I want to stress it again. If you talk about the team that is peaking at the right time here in the men's division, Ateneo would get my vote.
It is a mystery how and, you know, how they did it, how they turned everything around from a 2-5 start to a 6-1 second round in the eliminations. It is indeed a marvel that Ateneo was able to do that. Let's see if they can continue the winning streak here in the Final Four.
That's right, but to get the facts straight, remember, FEU has the twice-to-beat advantage, so this match is really an important one for Ateneo. If they want to win today, I would think that they would want to win this in 3 or 4. They can't let it go to 5.
FEU, one of the winningest universities in the UAAP, 24 championships, championships if I'm not mistaken. And the first 12 was won consecutively.
That's right, and that was in the early 60s. So a lot has changed, no? But FEU definitely always there. And like what I mentioned, it was just last year that they did not make it to the Final Four. And remember, they had a strong lineup 2 years ago, and they lost a lot of key players such as Mabayad, and they didn't make it to the Final Four. But this year they have a very formidable team, and like what you said, with that military training that they employ, it has paid dividends. They ranked 2nd, and that was enough to get them that twice-to-beat advantage for this season.
Tip too strong for Avila. That's an easy point for Ateneo. He has the lead by 2 right now, 3-1 in set number 1.
Teves now serving, and we know Teves to be a very effective outside hitter. He's very high, and his jump serve, look at that. I think he mistimed everything.
Yeah, the toss was awkward, and he had to chase after it, and he was leaning way too much forward. Yeah. That's why the ball went out of bounds.
Oh, adrenaline really pumping up these players right now.
And it is, of course, you know, an added factor that TV coverage starts or begins today in the men's tournament.
In the men's division,
How much more pressure does it add in? But now, these players know that, they are being scrutinized by millions of people watching all over the Philippines.
Well, during my time, sanay ako sa No, I'm just joking. But for these players right now, we see these players really watch when it's the women's turn to play, and I'm sure they see how the crowd reacts and how the fans react to the players, and I'm sure they also want to get their chance. And now that's a chance. Now they're at the center stage and at the limelight, so these games really mean a lot to them, to their families, and of course to their respective schools. So it's now the men's turn, and we're going to see a lot of exciting action, a lot of combination plays, especially when you've got 6'4 players, 6'2 players just jumping like
40 with about 40-inch vertical leap.
Wow.
And Alcarte, 2 consecutive points for FEU as Pareja. You saw scoring earlier for Ateneo. 2 best players got to come with their A-game today.
That's right. Pareja is actually the number 1 ranked player when it comes to attack percentage. He's a middle attacker, and whenever he gets the shots, he scores more than 50% or has a 50% batting average. That's very excellent for a middle attacker.
Very simple play for Intal there.
That's right.
FEU could not cope with the speed and the height of the hit.
Very athletic Intal. Good defense for Ateneo, keeping it alive. There you go. That's the advantage of having a left-handed setter.
That was Teo Campo.
That's right. Look at this. Pitches to Ocampo. Not waiting to set it up. Took that option of hitting it straight into Ateneo and caught Ateneo's defense off guard.
For a lot of people who watch the women's tournament and now are tuning into the men's tournament, Ian, could you say that the men's tournament players here are more versatile than because even the spikers can hit from the outside?
That's right. You're going to see in the men's division some plays that you think would be impossible already for the women's to save, and the men's division just find a way to set it up, even if it's from the corners of the court being more athletic, and the game is just quicker in the men's division. It's so nice to watch it live. If you have a chance, go to the arena. It's final for action, both men's and women's. Perfect time to go here.
Ateneo on top by 2, 8-6 here in set number 1.